So psilocin and psilocybin, these are hallucinogenic drugs that are actually found in mushrooms. So mushrooms, of course, are fungi, and many mushroom fungus species actually make chemicals that are called alkaloids that have psychoactive and hallucinogenic properties. Mushrooms from several genera, these include like Conocyba, Copelandia, Psilocyba, Stropharia, and Panaeolus. Some of these are actually available, in a lot of the northern Oregon coast, woodlands, etc. Are dried. They're eaten raw. They're sometimes boiled to make tea, or they can be cooked with other foods to sort of hide the bitterness. A lot of these have sort of bitter tastes. The major psychoactive ingredient of all these mushroom species is something called psilocybin, which is enzymatically converted to psilocin in the bloodstream. And psilocin is what appears to act at specific receptors that we'll discuss and generate these hallucinogenic effects. Now, the use of mushrooms apparently goes back, many millennia. There are Algerian cave paintings, apparently, from 3500 BC that show, some sort of shamanistic kind of individual with a bee face with mushrooms sprouting all over, their body. And these have also been used in Mexico and Central America by Aztec and Mayan civilizations as well. The Aztecs actually referred to these mushrooms as, I'm going to mangle this, Teonanacatl, which means flesh of the gods. And the use of these drugs, unlike, of course, the coca leaf in South America, was apparently brutally suppressed by Spanish conquistadores because they, unlike cocaine, it wasn't as amenable to making people get to work. In 1938, Richard Schultes, the Harvard Botanical Museum, took a great interest in these mushrooms and collected some of these mushrooms that were used in religious ceremonies by the Mazatec people of Oaxaca. And then an amateur mushroom specialist, known as a mycologist, right, named Gordon Wasson, actually traveled there with a photographer in the 1950s and participated in a Native American kind of mushroom eating ritual that was part of a religious ceremony. And he wrote up his drug experience in Life magazine in the 50s. It's called Seeking the Magic Mushroom from 1957. And this provoked a great deal of interest amongst travelers from the United States who came down to Mexico and wanted to participate in all of these rituals and experience the hallucinogenic effects of psilocin. This article actually and this kind of cultural episode drew the attention of an individual named Timothy Leary, who was a clinical psychologist, who went to Oaxaca and consumed these mushrooms, and then returned to Harvard University and founded what was called the Psychedelic Drug Research Program at Harvard. This was relatively short-lived. He worked with a guy named Richard Alpert, who was also known as Ram Dass, and he, apparently regularly tripped with graduate students, with faculty, with writers, musicians, artists, and he was dismissed from Harvard in 1963.